What's up, guys? There has been a lot of community outrage this week. People had some intense debates with Plarium community managers, including me. And then there were videos by JGix and others like asking players or the content creators specifically to boycott Plarium. And there's basically been three different topics. One is the Madman nerf, one is the Xenopass, and then there's one topic that I feel like nobody really covered, at least that I'm aware of, that is the most interesting one to me, and that is basically some promises that Plarium made regarding to PvP. But let's talk a bit about the drama, and I'll put it in a nutshell and explain my opinions. So the first one regarding the Xenopass, I mean, everybody is gonna, I think this is not very controversial at all. I mean, everybody is complaining that there is not a lot here that you can get, and the free-to-play side of this is almost or it's definitely better than the paid champion pass, outside of getting Xena the champion. And basically they are selling us a champion for $40, and that's kind of for you to decide if you want to get it or not. If you compare that to other games, then the price is ludicrous. Like, you can get actual like actual new Steam games with this price, and we're just talking about one champion basically, and most people will not consider this in any other context except raid, which I think makes sense. But as I mentioned before already last week, I'm still gonna buy it. The way I'm gonna go with these is that if it's really interesting champion for PvP, I'm gonna get it. I mean, I think that they should have just thrown in a good amount of loot here and or made the price a lot lower, and lots of more people would have bought it and people wouldn't have been so mad about it. It's kind of frustrating that Plarium does this every time and doesn't really like... it feels like they are not even giving us lip service about trying to understand us and be like moderate. But I'm sure they have done their statistics about this and they know that it's the best way for them to make money. But I think some things you can't really just count in money. If they had this Forge Pass with slightly better rewards and put the price point at, let's say, the same price that Warrior Circle pack is, maybe $10, I think a lot of more people would have bought it. And even if they would have made less money, which I don't know if they would, but I assume they have calculated that this is the one that makes the most money. But there would have been a lot better community response and better PR to it. So I hope that they are clearly gonna keep doing Champion Pass events in the future. So they should just consider having it at a lot lower price point. But that's really all there is to it. For me personally, I'm not too offended about it. I mean, the normal prices for even just if we look at the actual, like, $50 for 5 primal shards, and there is people that buy all of these, but even the prices for just all of the normal shards are ludicrous if you compare them to other games standards. So I'm not really shocked that the Champion Pass is expensive, and I'm not too bothered about it. I mean, you don't have to buy it if you don't, and you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't feel bad about that you have to buy it. If you don't feel like you need her or want her, then you can just skip her. Just like I'm gonna skip this fusion, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it is up to you to decide. I mean, I'm not even buying these Warrior Circle packs, which are considered very good by Plarium standards. But I think paying $10 for a couple shards and a legendary tome is an insane price just in general. But anyway, it's not that big deal to me. I think people are kind of getting maybe a little bit extra outraged more than they should, because this is not a new thing. Wait, what? Oh yeah, this is what I hate with these offers. They are like baiting you and not even letting you leave the damn offers. Anyway, that's about Xena. Like I said, I'm gonna buy her just because she's gonna be good for live arena, and as you might know, I really want to get the second nuker or third nuker. But then regarding the other topics, so then we have the nerf to Madman, and what Barium said is that they are not gonna nerf Yumeko or Tranda, and they consider those to be hard to accomplish and skilled or whatever. And of course the community is kind of, I think this is a no-brainer. Everybody is agreeing that they are just saying that, and what Madman does is basically what Tranda does as well, except way worse. It does much less damage and it isn't guaranteed to work. And in a nutshell, the reason why Tranda and Madman are so strong on Hydra is the way the surplus damage works, exactly like it does with Wukong. So, but the Wukong is a bit different, but like it calculates the same way, but Tranda is just based on the damage of the original hit, and then you do the AoE, and Wukong is based on the surplus damage. But the way it works is that the second AoE that scales off the first one gets all of the damage increasing effects applied twice, and you get many different multipliers. And already in arena it can be insanely strong, and you can see that the Wukong first hit does 200k, and then the second, like the AoE hit, actually hits for 400k and much more than the first one. But the reason why it gets so bonkers in Hydra is that you have the, is it triple damage that you do on decapitated heads, and then when you get like 2 times the triple damage, and then you have like multipliers on top of other multipliers, that's how you get these bonkers damage that people are doing, like tens of billions or hundreds of billions or whatever. I'm losing the count when there is so big numbers in it, but that is the issue. And when you can also reset the cooldown of Tranda A2 basically endlessly with double Yumeko. I mean, Kaimar can't reset other Kaimar's cooldowns, but for some reason you can do it for Yumeko. That is the issue. People were using double Yumeko with the Brockney team as well, weren't they? And I think probably people would, even if Tranda was nerfed as well, I think people would use double Yumeko with other stuff. So I think the root cause is double Yumeko. But of course, if they are gonna nerf everything, I mean, at some point they need to decide what is allowed in Hydra or what is okay and not. And people are outraged that Madman was nerfed and not Tranda, even though Tranda does same thing way better. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised. They nerfed Cadaver, they nerfed Madman. They are clearly nerfing champions that everybody has access to, and they are not gonna nerf Yumeko. Maybe they might even nerf Tranda, but they're definitely not gonna nerf Yumeko because it's a void champion and they are thinking about sales. So it is what it is. I mean, that is the same reason why they really don't want to nerf Ukraine Duo, which is like infinitely more OP and game breaking on PvP than double Yumeko or Tranda is on Hydra. These are not even like comparable. Like as you know, I have complained about it a million times, but the Ukraine Duo is absolutely busted in PvP, and nothing else will ever be viable unless they are nerfed. Everything is always gonna be based on how well they work in a team with them or how well they work against them, but nothing else matters in PvP apart from Ukraine Duo and how other champions relate to them, unless they're nerfed. So actually on that topic we kind of got a little bit of lip service this week, which Plarium very rarely gives regarding to PvP. Other CCs might know that I pretty frequently complain about Ukraine Duo in CC chat. It's kind of like my personal daily quest, that we have the in-game daily quests, but then my actual daily quest is to try to get Ukraine Duo nerfed and complain about it in the CC chat. And this week we actually got some responses to it, which I never get. I mean, if I ask about some in-game avatars or champion picks or whatever, they are definitely gonna respond to those. But if I ask them to nerf the Ukraine Duo, usually it's just crickets. But this week, I don't know if it was because they had already decided to do something about it, or because I have been pestering them about it for months. But now they basically said that, and this is kind of scoop, I don't know if anybody else made a video about this, I don't think I saw it, but they are gonna change polymorph so that buff strippers will be more viable again, and they say that they want to nerf Ukraine Duo indirectly that way. Of course I would, or like we need direct nerfs, there's no way around it. I mean, either PvP is always gonna be like garbage and unbalanced, or eventually they have to nerf them, but they said they are doing that and they are trying to nerf Ukraine Duo indirectly that way, and also that they have already planned to release some champions that will counter Ukraine Duo. So they are in many different ways trying to nerf them indirectly, but they are insanely resistant to like trying to actually nerf them. So we will see about that, but at least they gave some lip service to it, and maybe they will eventually change their mind and do the right thing, but we will see about that. In regards to, by the way, boycotting Raid, as JGix was saying, I have been kind of doing this passively for a long time. Not that I made many videos about it or anything, but basically the entire year I used to buy monthly game back pretty regularly, but I don't think I have. I think I bought it in January, and after that I haven't bought it once, and I think I maybe bought 1 Forge Pass or 2 Forge Passes this year. I can't remember exactly. I'm gonna get the bolster ones. But apart from that, I haven't bought anything, and I have been doing it for a while exactly because of Ukraine Duo. I feel like even if I buy a little bit of things, it doesn't matter because of Ukraine Duo, and it kind of feels pointless to spend in the game. But I'm not really advocating on boycott, and people can do whatever they want, and if you are fine spending like tens of thousands of money to try to get Ukraine Duo, then you're definitely free to do so, and if you're really into PvP, then you should do it, because that's the only way that you can be competitive in the current meta. But I would like to say also that even though nobody is really happy about the Madman and Cadaver nerfs, at least they're doing something about champion balance. I mean, they haven't been doing it all year, and it feels like a long time since they have done it. And by the way, that's one of the things that they were also saying outside of trying to indirectly nerf Ukraine Duo, that they actually are planning to do a lot more champion rebalances in the next year, and I'm very hopeful about that. So at least there's some silver lining to this, but I think we are pretty unanimous that they were just nerfing the rare champions that everybody has access to, and they are not very keen to actually fix the game balance. But at least they're doing something about it, and maybe planning to slightly nerf Ukraine Duo indirectly in the future. Anyway, that's it for this. I kind of wanted to rant a bit about it, and also bring up the Ukraine Duo nerf, that, or not the nerf, but indirect nerfs and plans that they have for PvP. So there is something to look forward to, and maybe something that they haven't told us before.